is, the pelvic floor is a diamond shape, right? And so you've got the pubic bone, the coccyx, and the two sitting bones. And that diamond, then there's muscles and connective tissue in between that are like hammock or trampoline-like. They're tensile. And they're divided in half, that diamond, to create two triangles, a front and a back triangle. Okay, and so you have three practices that you can work on there. So in the back triangle, you have what's called Ashwini Mudra, which is that the horses behind, which is a vivid image, which means that it's the anal lock. So Ashwini Mudra is the anus contraction, and that's in the back triangle. And then in the front triangle is that urogenital lock that's called Vajroli Mudra. And so, and between those two, along that strip that's dividing the diamond in half, that's called that's perineal, the transverse perineal tendon. In the middle is called the perineal body. And that is the part that you're working to activate, isolate, and lift up and draw up into the body to create mula bandha in the physical sense. So it's a very challenging prospect, honestly. And in the book Mula Bandha, it's a really great book, that Master Key, it's a whole sadhana of itself. And so to think that you can flow along in your series and do all those things and then isolate Mula Bandha could be challenging. So you start off with contracting all three. Contract the anus, contract that urogenital area, and find the center. And start to make a distinction between those three areas. And slowly hone in on the more central area. And release musculature that involves the front and back half more. Okay? So that's one thing about that on the physical level. The other thing is that the practice is progressing on purpose the way that it is. And so it starts with Surya Namaskara and standing postures. And that means your feet and your legs are supporting and in contact with the earth. And so to me, the feet, the arch of the foot forms what's called pada bandha, which is that just the same kind of redirection of energy that the mula bandha has, which is a kind of feeling. And so the feet and legs in their connection to the earth support the pelvis in the same way that mula bandha is meant to support the pelvis. So the feet plus the legs plus the lower pelvis make a gross mula bandha. They give you a way larger canvas to work on to get the feeling for what that support from beneath feels like and how to activate your core here. So, and also in a physical sense, mula bandha, or the activation of the pelvic floor, is a very commonly known technique for dancers, for people that are at high level of sports, for anyone that's moving with grace, and break dancers, whoever, they've tapped that very central core support to create their movement, to create their posture. And so what happens, though, is that it's a very interesting aspect that we can't just sit for our practice. We all sit, depending on your job, but so many of us sit so much in the office or in the chair, the table, the computer, in the car, so much sitting. And so you need that movement. And also what happens in all the sitting and the forgetting about the body is you become top heavy. So the head gets so heavy with all the thinking. And this part gets soft and asleep. comatose. So you get top heavy, forgotten about this part. And so part of yoga and you could not get that by just sitting and starting to meditate. You cannot get that, to invert that, to get it back to its proper placement as a good animal, which is center alive and appears passive, receptive, not making it all happen here. And so this vinyasa and movement is so important. The energy of the feet and legs and connection to the earth, feeding the pelvis as a way of becoming, not literally, energetically bottom heavy. Right? And top is light, rather than the inversion. So you have to invert the energy that way. And so these are very simple physical ideas that just by thinking that way, that it's like they say there's a brain or a sacred flame that rises up in that perineal space whose form is intelligence. Okay, so there's a whole intelligence that's coming from here and from orienting here that's not involved up here. And when you get that intelligence away, then this is better, has a better orientation, more useful to you.